We start the year with the new POSTUS, yes, that's piece of shit of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and we end the year with killer clowns on exploding hoverboards. When mobs carrying tiki torches are considered fine young men, and Native Americans protesting pipelines are considered terrorists. We escape the fake news into the virtual reality, and good God, is anyone else sick of 2017? Hashtag me too.
So did anything good happen in 2017?
Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, raise your beverages.
Let the tournament begin!
Get yourself a baseball bat and a tomato, because it's time to play catch-up. You know. Welcome everybody to the NXTea party for round one of the 2017 WWE United Kingdom Championship Tournament to crown the very first United Kingdom champion. I was about to say WWE United Kingdom champion, but I wasn't going to chance it. I got through it. If you saw the look on his face, I don't know if you can imagine how many times it took me to take that phrase down. Meanwhile, I'm the Wizard Stefan Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
Good evening, wrestling fans.
And tonight we finally watched the first round of the United Kingdom Championship Tournament, and this was the first one. Where
you think two guys that sit here and review NXT UK every week would have already watched this tournament? We're here to tell you right now, we fucking didn't.
If you've been with us for a while, then you may remember in our earlier shows, we have mentioned before that we have not seen this tournament. Usually when somebody that's a guest brings it up because they know it more than we do because they watch the whole...
We're like, yeah, totally. That totally happened.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be watching the show, and me and Jerry come to the consensus that this is the first time we've seen a motherfucker in NXT UK, and then Noah will be like, wait, we saw him in the tournament.
He was in the first tournament.
And it's like, correction, you saw him in the tournament, we did not.
We didn't see shit.
So, given the fact that we don't have any fresh programming right now, we did attempt to watch the Rise of NXT UK, which was broadcast today.
But they were already showing stuff we were going to watch tonight.
Well, no, not even tonight. Stuff we're going to watch next week, probably.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. They were showing, they went right into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, so our programming for this week is just round one, the 8 matches that made up all of this outside shit. By the end of tonight, we will have caught you up with the quarterfinals, the final 4 matches in the tournament before we get down to the last 2.
And we'll probably be covering those on next Thursday.
Yeah, we're probably going to cover all 7, so the 4 quarterfinals, the 2 semifinals matches, and then that finals match, which I think is brutal, dude. Whoever, and we know who it was, but whoever wins that has got to go through 3 matches in one night and potentially 2 matches right in a row.
Yeah.
Brutal. But let's start at the beginning. We don't start with a match. We start with Triple H coming out. And I think it's pretty cool of him to come out without his entrance music.
Just completely black arena and that one spotlight. It was really cool. Really almost ominous.
I don't think it was cool at all. I think it was cool of him not to take the spotlight and get the biggest pop of the night out of the way before the show even starts. Because I think his music would have done that.
Oh, yeah.
Instead, he just comes out and he introduces everyone to, you know, this new NXT UK expansion where we are at the very least at this point going to crown a champion. Keep in mind, we don't have an NXT UK brand yet.
Nope. The seeds were being set. like even down to promoters being in the audience. So
he welcomes everyone to the tournament, and Michael Cole welcomes Nigel McGuinness
for his first show.
Nigel McGilla Gorilla. He welcomes him to the WWE because this, ends up being Nigel's first appearance anywhere on WWE, and we're looking at it like, oh, we know that guy. And I wish, for reasons that Jerry mentioned to me, I wish that we had watched this first because we might have a little bit of better appeal for Nigel McGuinness listening to him co-announce next to
Michael Cole. Michael Cole made Nigel McGuinness look like Mauro Ranallo.
No, he didn't. Not Mauro. He did not make him look like the best in the business right now. Anyway, let's start this off. Trent Seven and H.C. Dyer. Now, this is a gentleman that we have not seen before. I don't know if he's in the second tournament. My guess is not, because we have not seen him since this match. He's obviously going to lose to Trent Seven. I don't think it takes a genius. Like, we don't know what their aspirations for these guys were at that point. We don't know where they qualified these people at. You know, there might be guys in here that we haven't seen since that, you know, moved on quite a bit through this tournament. So far, just one.
Yeah.
But not this guy.
No.
This guy, I was impressed by.
I liked him. He, like, had a cool, like, he pretty much had this cool demeanor to him. He busted out with so many different D-Lo moves I kind of lost track. But he was more of a striker than anything else. He made that evident in his promo, but you knew Trent
Mama
Seven.
said knock you out.
You saw
gonna knock you out.
You had Trent Seven. He was twisting his mustache and be all sorts of smooth. You knew he was going to win this fucking match.
Trent Seven was either Nigel or Michael Cole's favorite in this tournament. And I'm like, it would be so weird to go back in time and not know Trent Seven from anybody else and be like, cool, Michael Cole, I believe you. And not know what a sack of potatoes. They mentioned Trent Seven later in a match that he wasn't even in. Sack of potatoes, they called him.
No, I think Nigel was the one that was remotely behind Trent Seven at that point because Michael Cole revealed his pick later on in the night.
It was one or the other. I've got a note here of Dyer with a Blue Thunder bomb. I'm told he sets this up different with like a ripcord or something.
Yeah.
I did not witness that. But eventually, Seven dodges a lowdown. He comes off the top rope with a, like you said, lowdown. Not Devon. What was his name?
D'Lo Brown.
D'Lo. Sorry. Much like D'Lo, frog splash and misses, and then Trent Seven hits that 7-star lariat, gets the pinfall. We knew that was going to happen. I wish they'd look up H.C. Dyer. Where the fuck is this guy?
Dyer actually did like a really cool pop-up spine buster. So that's the other thing that kind of got me. Cause it kind of looked like the Sky High a little bit, but not so much.
So after this, we get Danny Burch versus Jordan Devlin, and this is one match I am glad that I got to see for several reasons. One, we already know who Jordan Devlin is, and we are already a fan, so this match does nothing to hurt him in my eyes. Switch the timelines, and I'd be like, who the fuck is this Jordan Devlin guy? And why is it taking Danny Burch so much time to try to beat this guy? Because I wasn't a big fan of Danny Burch back then, but at least I knew who he was, and Jordan Devlin didn't look as special in this match as he does nowadays.
He looked green. He really did. And that was the really cool thing about it was in this match you got to finally start to see, like, he started off, felt almost squeaky clean.
I have to think either they didn't let him do some of his moves or he didn't get a chance to do some of his moves.
I was about to say, he probably, I think that or he was just limiting his repertoire to pull off later into the tournament. He wasn't going to exhaust himself in that night one. Well,
this match ends a little fucky. Devlin hits a step-up enziguri to Danny Burch, and he catches him with the toe to the back of the head. Danny goes down hard on his back, and immediately there's blood on the mat.
Yeah.
He's just bounced his head a couple of times, and there's spots. And the ref sees this, and I don't know if this was Jordan Devlin seeing the blood and immediately going for a finish that could prevent, a big injury if time is a necessity.
Because you saw him shift his entire body weight onto Birch's shoulder, because I'm pretty sure he thought Birch was going to try to kick out anyway.
So he goes for a pin deep in the corner. Birch should have had the opportunity to even reach for the ropes.
I'm about to say his leg probably could have laid it on the ropes.
I think the spot there is for him to kick out, or he was supposed to lose at a different point in this match.
Mm-hmm.
But the ref counts 3, even though he gets his shoulder off the mat, either right at the 3 count or right before it, because they even slowed it down.
Mm-hmm.
They made it a point to slow it down. But I think the ref made a judgment call. He saw him hit his head hard after that enziguri. There was blood, and he said, this pin is going to happen right here, because Devlin was supposed to get the win anyway.
Mm-hmm. But I was pleased with what they did here, because they turned it almost into a full-blown heel turn, or made Devlin look that much more obnoxious. Because even after he gets his hand raised in victory and everything, he still super kicks Danny Burch.
Well, even Burch goes for a handshake.
Yeah.
And he snubs the handshake and then super kicks his head off.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just great. And then Charlie Caruso is there. Oh, God, I miss her on NXT. Anyway, she interviews Jordan Devlin, who basically just says he's a thoroughbred. This is none of his gimmick now. He does it just fine, but...
He's a lot more demonic with what he says now versus, at this point, he sounds more like Noam Dar.
A little bit.
Complete with the, weird purplish, bluish tights.
Well, he hates the fact that people compare him to Finn Balor, but Finn Balor was there. Mm-hmm. He was in the crowd. And, man, same haircut, same jawline. I mean, nah.
But Finn Balor goes like this, and Jordan Devlin goes like this.
Yeah. Huge difference, man.
It's Under Pressure and Ice Ice Baby. That's what we're talking about here.
So, Saxon Huxley, who we know,
mm-hmm.
comes on for his... All these guys are getting these short little promos before their matches. He looks like a much cleaner version of what we see now.
Mm-hmm.
Not much has changed. I don't think this is his entrance music that he's using. But we're introduced to a guy that we haven't seen, I don't believe, yet.
No, we hadn't.
But he looks like a pretty good competitor. He comes down, he looks like a guy that I think should be tagged with Jay Melrose. Because they look straight up alike.
And he slaps the ring.
And dude, he slapped the steps on his way into the ring, and I was like, I was already thinking Jay Melrose, and you had to go and give it a gorilla slap.
He was jacked for that match.
The crowd's chanting, "Let's go, Jesus! Jesus sucks."
Mm-hmm.
This is what Blackpool thinks about Saxon Huxley.
Mm-hmm.
They think he's Jesus. They had about 3 different Jesus chants that they were doing together. I'm not able to write them down because I can't understand.
Hey, Jesus, I want to know if you'll be my God.
Nice. I do have Gradwell hitting a European uppercut and then going up top for a diving headbutt 3/4 of the way across the ring.
They made a note of that 7 times before he even hit the ground. This match was kind of underwhelming. I think it was the most underwhelming of the matches that we got for the evening.
I don't know. It was okay. I'm just like, who's Sam Gladwell and Gradwell?
Gradwell.
Yeah, exactly. And why haven't we seen him again? Maybe next tournament. Maybe in a couple of weeks we'll be like, oh, there he is, and then he'll get eliminated in the first round, and we'll be like, well, there he went. Meanwhile, Dave Taylor's in the crowd.
Dave Taylor's the man.
You guys feel free to clap for Dave Taylor. Not you, Jerry. Not you. But you can clap for Pete Dunne versus Roy Johnson, who I think you recognize.
He has been on an episode of NXT UK. I'd have to look back at my old notes to find out who he faced off against, but he did not win.
Yeah, well, he's got something in common with his 2017 version. He did not win either.
I was about to say, anybody who picked Pete Dunne to not win this match was sadly mistaken. Even though Johnson got some pretty good offense in.
Let's see. I like early on we see the evolving of Pete Dunne's stomping on the hands and joint manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
He stomps on his hands on the ring steps and then does what I like to call now the Baszler stomp, where he inverts the elbow and stomps right there. I just think Shayna Baszler does it better, but I think he, did it before.
Well, she does her own mannerism with it first. She takes down her hair at the same time, and just that much more badass. It's telling that's coming.
And in 2017, Pete Dunne did not have hair to take down. He looked more like Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, he had Ripley hair.
Anyway, I've got that. I'm
gonna say this about Pete Dunne matches, man. I have no choice but to giggle and laugh sadistically through them because he's doing so many painful little maneuvers that I almost kind of start feeling them. There's that uncomfortable laugh, like.
Let's see. I've got Roy countering an X-Plex with a big ending.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he calls it, but that's what Big E calls it. Got a near fall off of that. But Dunn ends up dodging a snap German. Okay, so he hits the snap German. So that's the one where he dodges the guy running at him who goes chest first into the ropes and then comes back and he snap German suplexes him. And then hits the X-Plex for a near fall. And then just picks him right up into a bitter end. I'm like, why'd you get the near fall off of that move just to hit? Just fucking do all three moves in a row. Fuck it.
He didn't want to be Cena.
But Pete Dunne with the pinfall. And our thanks go out to Astrid Boy for Dusted. That is the group in the song that does the intro music that we all love for NXT UK, where they've got the crack of the whip with the slap of Walter.
Asteroid Boy.
Yeah. And the slap attack. Crack of the whip and the slap attack.
And that was just the first half of those were the first 4 rounds. We got another 4 after that.
We're only 15 minutes in. We're making good time here.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
So Wolfgang versus Tyson T-Bone, who I might suggest looks a lot like a very cool version of Luke Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know who Luke Bryan... I mean, I know who Luke Bryan is, sort of. I know he's a country music star. But I just saw Tyson T-Bone here, and I'm like, dude, he looks like...
a country singer.
That fucking country singer that you see in certain memes. And then I just literally Googled country music singer and scrolled through the pictures until his face popped up. And yeah, sure enough, Luke Bryan. Like, he's tatted as fuck. He's tanned as shit. He's got a redneck tan. And we live in Kentucky. My grandpa's a farmer. I know what a redneck tan looks like. But he looks straight up like Luke Bryan. Anyway.
He was a lot more imposing and a lot more cool looking and had more charisma back 3 years ago.
But I like your argument. Luke Bryan actually had a few hits.
Yeah.
Tyson T-Bone actually had more hits and more offense in this match than we've seen in any of the matches that we've seen him in NXT UK in the year and a half that it's been around. But he still lost.
Yeah.
What do you think about the match, Terry?
Wolfgang has always been impressive. Like, he's one of those guys. Like, we got a little more backstory on him. Found out he was a bouncer, and you can kind of see that. And he's just naturally charismatic. And I want to say that about him in Gallus right now too. Is the fact that he's getting to show more of his charisma and as well as his vicious side, but. Wolfgang's just I've always liked him. I've liked him since the first NXT UK we saw him on, and I liked him in his tournament.
I feel like if we had done this show when we had first started doing these shows and gone into it blind, I would have had a ridiculous amount of notes for 8 matches.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's less than a page and a half. Really, it's just about a page. This match would be my match of the night if not for the main event.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of notes for this. And
it was a good showing out of T-Bone, which you don't see anymore. And Wolfgang, we got to see all of his great moves.
Well, with a lot of these guys, what we see in these matches is just regular now.
Mm-hmm.
It probably would have been much like when I watched the Cruiserweight Championship, or the Cruiserweight Tournament,
mm-hmm.
Where every match I saw something new. In this case, in these 8 matches for the first rounds, there were a few matches in there where it was just business as usual.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it would have been business as usual if I'd have watched this early on. To that extent, like I said, I got a lot of notes here, and I consider having a bunch of notes enjoying the match because I saw some stuff that I felt like I should write down and tell you guys. Wolfgang hits the wasteland. I think he does it better than Bad News
Wade
Barrett.
Yeah.
And I think that's exclaimed by the fact that Barrett ended up with a different finishing move there at the end of his WWE career. Anyway, then he hits a middle rope Cambrana from the corner and gets a near fall off of that wasteland. T-Bone hits a German suplex into a super kick with Wolfgang on his knees. Gets a near fall off of that. That's probably the biggest spot that we see out of him in the whole match. Eventually, T-Bone hits Wolfgang knocks T-Bone off the top rope. Like, he hits an uppercut on Wolfgang. I don't know what Wolfgang was going to the top for initially with him up, but he hits a solid uppercut. Mm-hmm. Follows him up. They battle up there for a moment, but he gets knocked off. And Wolfgang eventually comes off with his swanton, but he definitely wasn't going for a swanton when he first went up there. So I don't know. Something different out of Wolfgang would have been. Anyway, This is where the match ends. 1, 2, 3 off the swanton. Charlie Caruso interviews Wolfgang, and he says, because he knows he's going to get Trent Seven next week, or the next night.
Yeah.
For us, it'll be next week. Probably.
Oh, it'll be next week.
He says he knows why they call me the Big Bad Wolf. This is pre-Gallus. I like this Wolfgang. Any other notes here before we move on?
Nope. Let's get on to the next one. I'm excited to talk about this.
James Drake and Joseph Connors. Seems like a waste of James Drake to me, but Joseph Connors goes into this looking good. I think Michael Cole said he was his dark horse.
That's what I was getting to.
Not his favorite to win though. He said that this was his dark horse pick. Joseph Connors does get the win. I mean, I guess I would have assumed that, but at the same time, I feel like as big as James Drake is with or without Zach Gibson, and as good as he is, especially with Zach Gibson, it could have gone either way for me here. Because I know who won the tournament, but I don't know who won all the individual matches. What do you think about this one here, Jerry? I know you're salivating.
Well, I loved it because Joseph Connors is probably my favorite wrestler in NXT UK, which says a lot because you have Eichner and Bartel and all them. But if I had to go with the most underrated superstar, or I'm going to say it underappreciated, Joseph Connors, because I'm watching this match and I'm still like, man, he's still busting out moves that I hadn't seen him do yet, and it's just crazy.
For me, this match was a very weird set of nostalgia rules because it's nostalgic to see some of these guys come out. Some of them will come out with the same wardrobe that they currently use now. Some of them will use the same gimmick. We hear the term Mustache Mountain come out of Trent Seven's mouth when he was being interviewed, and it wasn't because of the tag team, it was because of where he grew up and what Mustache Mountain meant. It were these specific mountains. You'd have to listen to it. I didn't write it down. But this one was nostalgic for both the wrestlers coming out. I noted that Joseph Connors has got the same entrance music that he currently uses now.
And I'm pretty sure the same print for his name on the Titantron. You know, everybody had the same print for their names. He never changed font.
I don't know about that, but I do know that you notice that James Drake in this match is first before we saw, but now it's still, see, weird form of nostalgia. He's still an ass face.
Yep.
He was then, still now. Was now, still then. See, oh god, it's crazy.
Wow, it's lots of nostalgia here.
Yeah,
folks.
lots of weird nostalgia. I've got Connors pushing Drake across the middle rope, chest first, and when he bounces back, he hits him with a belly to back. Best thing I could call it is a slam. Like he picks him up belly to back, but then he drives him down face first, or maybe he slams him down back first. Anyway,
that's one of the signatures right there.
And he ends the match with a back elbow into Drake, who's running at him, but he follows it up with a knee to the back that is like a backbreaker over the knee.
It just looks so great.
It's crazy fluid.
It's crisp.
It doesn't look like the physics should work that way, but it does, and then follows it with a don't look down.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Joseph Connor's moving on.
The thing that I think he should really be doing, though, is really playing up the ear. Because he played up the ear a lot in this match, and it just made it look even crazier and crazier.
Yeah, he's got like half an ear on this
left side. I'm pretty sure he lost it the same way Mick Foley lost his.
It would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Great story for a bar. Mark Andrews versus Dan Maloney.
I did not think I was going to like this match as much as I did, but it was wonderful.
My Maloney has a first name.
It's the A-N-N-Y.
Charlie Caruso interviews Mandrews before he goes out there, and he says he's a lone wolf. He's the only one from Wales. He has not been joined by his soon-to-be future tag team partner, man with too many names.
Flash Morgan Webster.
FMW. Meanwhile, Dan Maloney is quite the opposite of Mandrews. Mandrews is a high flyer. They keep saying he's the purest form of a high flyer in this entire tournament. And this is true. But we've seen this. And he might have blown my mind in this match if not for the fact that I've already seen all that stuff later on.
Well, the thing is with Dan Maloney, he comes off as almost like MJF because he's like 19 years old at this point, super brash, and just like really full of himself. Looks like Josh from Drake and Josh.
I'm wondering why there's a few of the people in this tournament that we don't get to see again later, like Dan Maloney, Roy Johnson, and H.C. Dyer. I think Roy Johnson was a guy that was like a power lifter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why wouldn't you put him with this powerful striker in H.C. Dyer? Or put Dyer with Dan Maloney?
We really want to use Dyer. Because Dyer is actually really, really
because
great.
They would both, anyway, or any of the, or all three together, like just something. Because they're all so such powerful guys.
Wouldn't that be a cool faction to bring back? The first four losers from the NXT UK finals, they just show up and invade NXT UK one night.
So I've got one thing here that I guess I've probably never mentioned out of Mandrews, or maybe it's been a while. Northern Lights suplex, floats over into a standing moonsault. Perfect moonsault.
Perfect.
Got a near fall off of that, and then does that moonsault off the apron after dude rolls outside. Lands that perfectly. Crowd goes nuts. Maloney, though, hits this fireman facebuster bomb that I thought was really cool looking. And this is he hits a kick to the face, just a running kick.
It looked like cracked him in the mouth. And
gets a near fall off of it. Mandrews, though, ends up countering a vertical suplex with the move we all know, the Stun Dog Millionaire.
Rule number one.
Never try to vertical suplex Mark Andrews.
Yep.
General's Rule 1. Follows that up with a shooting star press for the pinfall. And who didn't see Mark Andrews moving on? Possibly Mark Dallas and Duncan Gray, who are shown in the crowd. And feel free to explain who they are, Jerry, because I didn't know.
They're promoters from ICW.
Take his word for it. We are on to the main event. 27 minutes in. That's pretty good timing, I think. Man.
Hell yeah.
This was a good match. Tyler Bate doesn't... Oh, my God. He's like 21 or 22 here. He looks nothing like Tyler Bate now.
No, he's 19.
Wow.
He ends up being like the well, other than Rene Dupree. Rene Dupree is still probably the youngest champion that they've actually had in WWE. He was 19 as well. But for like singles wise, Tyler Bate like pretty much holds the record, I'm pretty sure.
Right on. And he's facing Tucker, who I believe we've seen before, but
just very briefly.
Few and far between, man. This was a pretty good match. Tucker looked all right, but I think he's had knee problems, and maybe that's what's kept him from signing a contract with NXT UK.
Well, that's what he initially said. Like, the doctors had told him that he shouldn't come back from his last knee surgery because he could risk, like, not be able to walk again, but he wanted to prove them wrong.
Sweet. Did that, didn't you? Oh, there's a lot of stuff in promos during this whole show that were like, yeah, how'd that pan out for you?
Oh, and we'd be remiss to not say that he was also trained by Finn Balor.
So there you go. He hits this slingshot flatliner to Tyler Bate. Got a near fall off of that. And I think we've seen the slingshot flatliner before, but he did it real good.
He did it well.
Real good.
It's a female athlete that does it. I'm just trying to remember. Tony Storm?
I don't know. Anyway, it might be Kaylee Ray. Anyway, he gets up some offense, but eventually goes for a tope suicida and gets uppercutted in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. He throws, or he comes off the steps to Tyler Bate with a Hurricane Rana, though, and lays him out on the rampway. That was pretty cool. Let's see. They get back in the ring. He goes for a springboard crossbody onto Bate, but Bate rolls through and holds onto him, picks him up, throws him on his shoulders, and does the airplane spin. Then stops, does a squat, and then reverses the airplane spin. And then goes for a pinfall. And thank God you can still kick out even though you're dizzy. Because I'm sure they were both fucking dizzy. Yeah, it's just a near fall. Let's see. Tucker kicks Bates' fucking head off. I don't remember. Oh, they just get up. Like Tyler Bates getting ready to do something.
Nails with the super duper kick.
He hits him with a super kick that was just fucking sick looking.
Knocks him clear out of the ring.
Yeah, he rolls to the outside.
He actually runs all the way around the ring. And Tyler Bate is
picks
still
him up,
down.
throws him in the ring, and then just gets barely gets a near fall off of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then he goes up top and goes for a swanton bomb, but Bate counters it with his knees. What is it with the swanton bomb in this tournament? Jesus. Anyway, he hits a series of kicks, lands that rolling capo kick. You all right there, Jerry? And a Tyler Driver 97 gets the pinfall. Who didn't see that coming? Because, of course it did. Yep. We're going to follow him through several wins in this tournament. But great match. I enjoyed it. Any final thoughts before we rate this bitch?
I didn't know if you want to rate it since we're doing things differently, or do you want to just consider a match of the night?
I'm going to consider it. I think this is easily
main event. Each match got given a 15-minute time limit, but I'm going to say this one got the most time out of them all. So... yeah, we'll go ahead and rate this one.
This was easily main event. They structured this to where it was a 2-hour night and ended with this match.
Yep.
I will mention before we rate it, let's slow down. We do have the bracket breakdown for the quarterfinals. What's going to be in these spots here. Next week for you guys, tomorrow for them. Again, forgive time.
Lots of weird timelines here, people.
Time isn't real, folks.
We are X-Men timelining this shit.
So in the next round, we have Tyler Bate versus Jordan Devlin. And William Regal and Nigel McGuinness actually come out to the stage to announce these and bring out the competitors to do those face downs. Trent Seven versus Wolfgang, Mark Andrews versus Joseph Connors, and Pete Dunne versus Sam Gradwell, who knew their jobs in this. Just
mean
this
mugging.
Close to their face. Yeah. Who's got some angry tea? Because I got a mean mug. Thanks for laughing at that.
You're welcome. It was half me being tired, half pity, and half whatever else.
Oh, it's the first time I've been glad that you didn't hear the joke the first time I told it.
Yeah.
Like an hour and a half ago. Probably that long by now. Anyway. Yeah, that brings us to the end of the main event.
Well, we also, like, right before the camera cuts off, Pete Dunne attacks Sam Gradwell. knocks him on his ass.
Yeah, and William Regal has to fight him off and scold him.
And the funny thing is, Pete Dunne has that, like, almost like Matt Riddle type smirk on his face, like, bro, relax, what's going on? You know, chill out.
You're paying us to fight, right?
Yep.
So, here on the NXT party, we like to rate the main event using good old-fashioned NXT. Don't have any tea here, so I'm not going to hold up the bottle. I have orange liquor. And
it's like okay, our show's brought to you by Boiling Root Beer with real cane sugar. It's tasty.
And Orange Sassy Swirl by somebody. I don't know if I'm allowed to promote an alcoholic brand. Fine, you do it.
Okay.
Oh crap, it's still my channel. So, here on the NXT party, we like to rate the main event using good old-fashioned NX something. So, Jerry, out of 5 spots of drink, out of 5 spots of something to drink, where do you rate Tucker versus Tyler Bate?
I think like it did a good job in establishing that Tyler Bate's going to be one of the main threats in this, and the aftermatch of the match shows that Pete Dunne's going to be the main antagonist, or pretty much the Johnny Lawrence to the Ralph Macchio to the Danielson. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4 because there's actually Tucker was impressive, but there's just no way Tyler Bate was going to lose this match.
Well, I'm going to give it a 3.75. I thought this match was really good. I don't think it was great. I debated whether to give it an extra quarter spot off of a great show because there were several great matches, but I also debated taking a quarter spot off of it for an underwhelming show considering what I'm used to in tournaments out of WWE.
Mm-hmm.
The women's tournament, the cruiserweight tournament, this tournament felt like about half and half.
I don't even think it was that. I know exactly what annoyed you about this show. You said it like 8 times while you're watching it. The fucking UK crowd. It just takes you out of the action so much whenever you're watching the shows.
Sometimes this is true.
Like the chant after a while, like especially with the Danny Burch, because you heard the Tyler Bate type chant and you also heard the Tony Storm chant, but with Danny Burch's name.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna give it 3 3/4 spots of NX drink.
That and I love the Empress Ballroom.
I do love the Empress Ballroom. If they had a crowd that was a little less
obnoxious.
That's the thing, culturally speaking, because this is a soccer/football crowd.
Mm-hmm.
To them, that's not obnoxious.
That's just a way of support. Yeah. They're the opposite of the Japanese crowds, who just kind of sit there and ooh and ah.
I can't shit on the crowd, really. It's just I could shit on how I feel about the show. Yeah. So there you go.
There you go.
3 3/4. I'll leave it at that.
That sounds fair enough.
Just shy of a great match, or a great main event.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings us to the end of this episode of the NXT party. You might notice we don't have anybody on the big screen. We didn't get anybody to review it with us this week that was able to make it. Hopefully Colin's okay. We haven't talked to him yet, but hopefully you're doing all right.
And hopefully you'll be back for night 2.
Something. Yeah, sorry it ended up being so late, but
he needed to sleep.
There's no timeline for this one.
The time is just a construct at this point.
Shit. Technically speaking, this is early as fuck, because normally we do the NXT party 7 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yep.
So anyway, please join us. If you want to help us review the second round, third round, and finals of the NXT UK Tournament 2017, you can join us on the big screen. We'll put you there instead of the brackets. If you want to help us review a future episode of NXT once it comes back, you can find us or leave a comment.
Mm-hmm.
Leave a comment with a way for us to find you. Meanwhile, you can find me on Twitter at nodq.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. Or if you just want to look me up, it's at Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for, thank you, Jerry, restricted. You can also find the General on Twitter. At
Gerald_JSJ, my Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR.
Exclamation point.
We'll add you on there if you're not a dick. Aftermatch Wrestling, we also have a Facebook group for that. That's public. And we have our subsidiary groups. We have Aftermatch_Wrestling on Instagram, ran by Colin the Cleaver Andrew, and also Aftermatch Rest, where we take the ling out of wrestling.
Whatever the fuck that means.
Also ran by Colin, so don't piss him off, people. He will get rid of you.
Yeah, we're both on Instagram. You can find me at osborne.stefan. You can find him at
the_gentleman_slaughter. I don't even have the app anymore. I just kind of check in every now and then, but it's whatever.
I have the app, but I don't use it. Yeah, if you want to follow me, that's cool, but I don't have no content, so, I mean, I won't clog up your newsfeed.
Nope.
But anyway, you can also find us on Patreon if you'd like to support the channel at Stefan R. Osborne. But if you just have a few seconds 20 seconds, 30 seconds, you really want to support us, help us out. Click this like button that's over here. If you like the show, that would help. If you like all of our shows, you'll be doing us a favor and yourself a favor by subscribing. Subscribe to the channel over there. That'll let you know when our shows go on. And if you want to catch us live for what's NXT every week, because it seems like we might be getting actual NXT programming every week. They're going to do it somehow, some way. Click that bell icon. That'll let you know when we go live to review that show.
Until I go back to work, we're doing it right after the show.
Yep. Sort of kind of competing with No DQ, which is cool, I guess.
Well, they cover more AEW than anything else.
Yeah, if you want to see an AEW and an NXT review all into one, go see Aaron, absolutely. But if you want to see just an NXT review and a very in-depth one, come see us on Aftermatch Wrestling. And other than that, yeah, I do want to mention all these social media platforms. Like, I don't usually give a fuck. Like, if you join Jerry's group, you abide by Jerry's rules. I don't give two shits what you think about me. Like, if if you leave positive stuff, I'll like it. If you leave negative stuff, I'll read it. If it's constructive, I'll probably take the constructive criticism and use it. I've done that plenty in the past. I've been super...
See all these lights and the microphone? Yeah. Constructive criticism. That was listened to.
But if you have beef with other people, keep it between yourselves. Like, if you got a problem with me, cool. Leave it down there. I'll read it. If you have constructive criticism, I will use it. Otherwise, like, I'm not going to say anything to you because I just appreciate the view, to be honest. Like, if you got shit to say, you have to click on the video to say it down in the comments, and that's fine with me. I appreciate the view. While you're talking shit about us, tag the show. Share the show. Talk shit about us on all of your social platforms.
Yeah, exactly.
Let people watch thinking that they're going to watch, the shit show that you're talking about. Give them the opportunity to agree with you if that's what you want or not. Either way,
we get the views.
We appreciate the support. Positive or negative, support is support, man. This is the new age.
Any kind of promotion is good promotion.
But if you've got beef with me, I mean, like, leave it in the comments. But just know I'm not adding you on Facebook because I don't add anybody on Facebook unless I fucking know you. So that's where that is. We used to say that all the time. We kind of felt like it doesn't need to be said anymore. But don't add us on Facebook. We won't add you back. That's why we have the Facebook groups. That's why he has Armbar, and now we have Aftermatch Wrestling. If you're a fan, that's where you can find us. You can message us directly there. Tag us in your post, and it will let us know that it's basically the same as a message. You just abide by rules, especially his rules. I let him rule that shit because he usually knows what's best. Trust me, I'm the fuck up. Anyway, I say all that to say this. I don't give a fuck. Whatever, man. Whatever floats your boat. Just thanks for the view. In the meantime, for the gentleman, Jerry Slaughter, I'm the Wizard of No DQ, Wiz Fresh. What are my other nicknames? It doesn't matter.
Wiz Fresh 2 belts at one point.
Thank you for having a spot of NX drink with us, and we will see you NXT time.